So hello and welcome back to, I guess we could call this season 3, considering this is our going to be our third area that we're really going to explore as good as we can. So we're going to be exploring Outland and starting with Hellfire Peninsula, but I figured before we head out to Outland, we should, you know, chill here at the dark portal where it kind of all began. Outland, it does hold a very special place in my heart because I started playing World of Warcraft right at the end of the Burning Crusade. So I actually have some pretty good memories of Outland. Probably even more good memories of Wrath of the Lich King, but then again, who doesn't have good memories of Wrath of the Lich King? But I started playing as a Blood Elf and as a Draenei, and I quickly settled on a Draenei kind of as my main, but that was mostly because most of my friends were playing on the Alliance side back then. And then for a while I switched over to Horde for probably most of Cataclysm and most of Mists of the Pandaria. I mained Horde. And then I ended up switching back to Alliance because they got Void Elves, which was kind of like all of the joy of a Blood Elf, but on the side that I preferred architecturally. So anyway, but before we go through the dark portal, let's take a look back and check out the cinematic for Burning Crusade.
Imprisoned for 10,000 years. Banished from my own homeland. And now you dare enter my realm. You are not prepared.
So as you can see, that's a pretty awesome cinematic. I don't know if it's my favorite cinematic, but it's up there. So here we are on the other side of the dark portal, staring out over Hellfire Peninsula into the rift of everything. Because as I found out, Outland was created, it used to be Draenor, which we all found out when we went to the Warlords of Draenor expansion. But it was created when Draenor was attacked by the Alliance expedition who was trying to end the Orcish threat to Azeroth. And in the middle of the battle that ensued, Ner'zhul, who was trying to allow the remaining orcs on Draenor to escape to other worlds, was opening dimensional portals everywhere. And the presence of so many of those portals tore the entire planet of Draenor apart, launching ripped up fragments of former worlds towards the twisting nether. So the barely habitable remnants of the planet Draenor were renamed Outland, and almost all life on Draenor was completely wiped out. The continent was reshaped, and most of the remaining wildlife in Outland is either sickly or corrupt. There are a few spots where it isn't nearly as bad, but it's pretty darn bad. And as Alliance or Horde players back in the Burning Crusade, you would cross through in Hellfire Peninsula. That way is pretty much, I'm pretty sure that there is no way to go through the actual dark portal anymore, but that's okay because Blizzard has given us other portals. If you are an Alliance player, you'll take this one right here, and you can go back to Stormwind, and if you're portaling from Stormwind to Outland, you will end up in Shattrath, and the Horde portal is over on this side. So let's take a look around, Now, it's so funny because there are so many interesting little hidey holes, but the first thing that I never knew, I do remember when you had to train up weapon skills when I started, but I never realized that a lot of high-level players would just sit here and let the troops here do all the tanking and just train their weapon skills by fighting these elites here. Interesting. If I would have known about that, I still don't know that I actually would have done it, but it's an interesting idea. There's also a lot of really interesting geography here on Hellfire Peninsula. You've got all the little islands that are just kind of floating hither and thither, and there's actually a really cool memorial that's actually out in this area that we're not going to actually go to today. We'll wait until the memorial video because there aren't too many Outland memorials. I think there's only 3 or 4. But here we are at the Legion front, which is obviously where the Burning Legion is. And it's one of the first places where you can really see probably the creepiest thing in all of Outland, in my mind. And that is this road that is paved with the bones of the Draenei that the orcs back on Draenor almost completely exterminated. It was one of those very brutal genocides and absolutely terrible. And up ahead is probably, if you were playing during the Burning Crusade or even pre-Cataclysm, everybody's foe who I really kind of want to go kill right now just because I can. I cannot tell you how often the Fel Reaver killed me. It got to the point where you would hear the noise of him coming and just run. And you pretty much knew that you were completely up the creek because he was going to kill you no matter what. But yeah, Fel Reaver. Terrifying. If you are a pet battler, we have little Nikki Tiny Tech here. She is the first of the Outland Grandmaster pet battlers. And you can, once you've unlocked it, do dailies with her to help train up your battle pets. I like to point those out because I love doing pet dailies. They make me happy, and they're a good way to kind of level up if you need to. You can get some pretty good experience for it. Also over here, and it's another daily quest that you can do just for Honorhold rep. I think this is it. Yep. Is this little spot here, Shatter Point, where you can do a daily quest that is kind of a headache, but it's doable, where you get to go and bomb a bunch of Legion demons and things. You just have to talk to Griffinir Windbellow after you unlock it, and he will send you over this way, where you'll go on a bombing run. It's not a dangerous or hard quest, it's just a little bit finicky in what you actually have to take out. But you can see here on the Abyssal Shelf the things you'll be bombing. It's kind of fun, honestly. Once you get the hang of it, it's not a hard quest at all. Now we're going to head on over to the Alliance's main stronghold here, and yeah, check it out. So here we are at Honorhold, which is the Alliance's main area of questing here in Hellfire Peninsula. You'll find all of your trainers. This is where you could very first get your very first flying back in the day, and it's kind of a nice little inn. I really like the design of it. Might have to redo it. I mean, it's pretty much just your basic Alliance inn, but I do enjoy them. Just saying. And this one's a little bit better than the inn in Goldshire because you can actually move around in it. It's got this nice little room over here where one of the honor guards is stretched out. Looks like in his underwear, just taking a nap. In here you've got the tailoring trainer and a really cool canopy bed. And then in here, you have another gentleman who is very sick. Poor Colonel Jules. He's not doing too good. He's a little bit possessed, and you do have a quest later on to cure him. We'll put cure in quotation marks there. This is also where you will get a lot of reputation, and if you do PvP, this is where you'll be turning in your Honorhold marks. Right down here to Warrant Officer Tracy Proudwell. You've also got your little blacksmithing area. You've got a keep up top, which comes complete with a very cool prison in the bottom of it. And, you know, this very nice memorial to all the fallen, because this is not only, you know, where the Alliance is now, but it's where the Alliance started out, and this is all that kind of remains of the initial attackers from Azeroth back in the First War, Second War, one of those wars. There's always too many wars. Also, and I can't remember exactly where it is, but you know, they've had so many deaths here that there's actually a dude over here who is busily still trying to bury the dead. And I can't remember exactly where he's at, but it's kind of sad. But yeah, that is Honorhold. Just a little hop, skip, and a jump away from Honorhold is probably one of the more fun quest chains, at least in my opinion, and that is the Zeppelin Crash. You'll get one of your very first recipes here, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. these goblins kind of crashed their Zeppelin right here, and they're still friendly to both Horde and Alliance because this is from back in the day before the goblins actually joined the Horde formally. You'll also get over here to the Expedition Armory, which is an old ruined town that is full of spirits that need to be subdued, and that's another fun little quest chain that you can do over here. There's one other area that is an Alliance area that we'll get to here in a little bit, but we're gonna go around a little bit more here and go to the Razorthorn Ridge, which I'm pointing out not really because it has any questing in it, but because the Razorthorn Trail is a place that has a pet that you can only get in this area. So if you're a pet collector, you want to come over here, and that is where you can get, let's see if there are any of them around. They're not always here. This is where you'll meet up with Terakar Forest, and it's where you can get your own little cute Ravager pet, but I don't think they're always here. But I remember when I was doing the pet collection, really that was the last pet that I needed to do the Outland Safari achievement, and I was very happy to find them. So I figured I would let you know kind of where they hang out. Now, if you're a PvPer and you were playing back in the Burning Crusade expansion, you probably know a lot more about the three areas that we're coming up to now. I was never into PvP. It's just not my thing. But I have captured these flags, but there was no actual PvP involved. But that's over here. We have Broken Hill, and then the other two areas are the Overlook, and I cannot remember the name of this one, so we'll fly over it, the Stadium. And you have to capture all three of them, and it's a good way to get a little bit more reputation. It's a lot easier to do now than it was back in the day, because back in the day you would try to capture it and there was a lot of actual PvP that happened. Now, this central area is also home to Magtharian's Lair, which is a raid. It's a single boss raid. Pretty easy nowadays. I'm sure it was not easy back when this first came out. And there's also a couple of dungeons that are here. If you look here, we've got Magtharian's Lair, which is the raid, and then we've got the Blood Furnace, the Shattered Halls, and Hellfire Ramparts. So if you're looking to farm some old transmogs, it's a good spot to farm because everything's just right there. You also have, right over here, just past the Horde encampment, you have the Throne of Kil'jaeden, which is home to a really unique looking blood elf, which is, I think they're Fel elves. They're really cool looking. There's a lot of questing that you have to do over here, but I just like it because they're a very unique looking version of the blood elves. Also, this is a good spot to farm. I can't remember what it was I was farming. I think I was farming Fel, something Fel, when I was trying to get one of my mounts, my engineering mount, the flying mount, the flying helicopter. I spent a lot of time over here farming and checking out these really cool looking Fellblood Initiate elves. I don't know. I think they're kind of neat. You don't really want to engage them outside of the quest chain that you're supposed to kill them in because they don't die. They don't actually hurt you if you're max level, but they also don't die, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, this is the Throne of Kil'jaeden. This is the culmination of this area's quest chains. And I remember at level, I think I finally gave up on these quests. I've never been like the world's best player. I do a lot more exploring than I do actually questing. It's my, I would say secret shame, but it's not so secret considering I just told everybody. Over here we also have the Stonewall Canyon, which has a really cool mine here, and oh, he is actually neutral to us. So you've got a mine. This is the home of yet another poop quest where he will give you the leash of one of his Felguard hounds and tell you that he lost the keys to his machine here, and one of his Fellhounds ate it, and you just need to feed that Fellhound a lot until it excretes, and then, you know, dig through the excrement until you find his keys. No big deal. I do have to laugh. I don't know that Blizzard's been doing as many poop quests as they used to, but I think that there was a poop quest in almost every single expansion. You've also got the Pools of Agranar, which is a questing zone that the Scaran Circle will send you on. You'll come up here and do a lot with these Terror Fiends, which, if you remember, they were also in the Blasted Lands on regular Azeroth. If you are in the Alliance side, you will also want to pick up all of the quests over here. Right up ahead, there's some very sad stories. You're going to help a ghost and do a lot of things like that. But right over here we have this Draenei area, which is the Temple of Telhamat. And as you can see, it's filled with Draenei survivors, and you can help them out a little bit. I do love this inn because it's one of the only ones that has just a big comfy couch. Well, mostly comfy. At least you have pillows. The seat of the couch might be a stone slab, but at least you got pillows for the sides. So I guess it beats nothing. Alright, one other area before we flip this over to Onyx to check out our Horde areas, and that is where you're gonna be introduced for the first time to the Scaran Circle, or at least the first time. It's actually the Scaran Expedition instead of the Scaran Circle, which you will have remembered from regular Azeroth. So right here is the Scaran Post, and you can do a lot of questing for them before moving on to Zangarmarsh, where you can quest for them a lot more. And if you actually get to Exalted with them, you can get the Scaran Hippogriff, which is this guy right here. We'll mount up on him really quick so you can see him. And he's kind of a pain to get, but a lot easier than he used to be. So you can get the Scaran War Hippogriff if you get up to Exalted with the Scaran Circle. I do enjoy getting up to Exalted level with as many factions as I can, because a lot of times you can get some really cool mounts from it. And now we're going to turn things over to Onyx, who is going to show the 2 Horde areas, and then that'll be it until next week. Alright, and here we are with Onyx in her very Sin'dorei best. I mean, I figured she might as well represent her heritage. And we are at Thrallmar, which obviously is named at least partially after Thrall, who was the leader of the Horde back then. You have your basic inn here. I do kind of get a kick out of these, we'll put some heavy air quotes around, beds right here. I especially honestly like the skull candle holder in them. They're kind of awesome. But as you can see, we've got a few Thrallmar grunts just kind of kick back. You notice they also like the actual beds, or at least straw pallets. And here at Thrallmar, just like Honorhold, you have your own system of reputation here, where the town itself is formed its own little thing, and you have to grind up reputation with them. You can come over here and you can talk to Nazgrel, who is one of Thrall's advisors. He's got a lot of quests for you, as does the Shadow Hunter Taijin. And this used to be, I don't think it's still the case, but this used to be the only way that you could unlock the dungeons in the middle of Hellfire Peninsula, is by grinding reputation up with either Honorhold or Thrallmar. So that was sort of a big deal. The other thing I really like is the stables here are full of riding wolves and some nice wind riders, unlike the Alliance side, which has horses and griffins. There's also a mine that is down under here, the Thrallmar mine, and that is a Horde-only mine. And then the other Horde area is Falcon Watch, which is, it's really neat because it's one of the few Blood Elf enclaves that I can think of off the top of my head outside of the actual Blood Elf lands up in the northern eastern kingdoms. So it's kind of neat. You don't see a lot of Blood Elf architecture outside of Silvermoon City, honestly. And this is really nice because you can actually fly here. There's also a really cute cat here who was featured in one of WoW Krendor's Pointless Top 10 Cats videos. So that's my pointless fact from a Pointless Top 10 video, which I get a big kick out of WoW Krendor and his videos. But this is a Blood Elf area. It is Falcon Watch, and you can go in and do quite a bit of questing. You can also translocate. I can't remember where this takes us, but we'll find out. Just up to the top here. I was like, I really hope this doesn't take us to Silvermoon City, because then I'm going to feel really embarrassed. But yeah, other than that, most everything else in this area is neutral. You can do all of the Scaran Circle and everything at the Goblin area. But we've got some recovering pilgrims here. What does Galaresia say?
Baladash Malinore.
I think I'm beginning to regret undertaking this pilgrimage. I anticipated that the road would be rough, and I'm no stranger to travel, but I wasn't prepared for the rigors of Outland. As Illidan always says, you are not prepared. On top of everything else, Talrus wants to push me out of here before I've regained my strength completely.
The reckoning is at hand.
You know, that's terrible. Let's see if we can find that kitty cat, because I know he's around here somewhere. I'm even pretty sure that there is some sort of a quest attached to the cat, but I don't remember 100%. I just remember there is a kitty cat around here somewhere that was featured in one of WoW Krendor's videos. And now I'm going to feel really dumb because I can't find him. Oh well. You know, it is what it is. Just know, there's a cat around here. I don't know exactly where, but he's around here somewhere. But yeah, that is pretty much it for Hellfire Peninsula. There's probably a whole lot of things that I missed, because I'm really good at missing things, but you know, I try to just focus on the things that stood out to me as I was questing, or the things that I've found since then. And one of the big things that always stands out to me is Falcon Watch, because it's a little bright spot of... Oh, there he is! Twinkle! What's up, my dude? Alright. Twinkle, did you know you're famous? Twinkle probably didn't. But yeah, this is a bright spot of Blood Elf civilization in the middle of a rough world. So next week, we will be moving on to probably... Honestly, we'll probably go Zangarmarsh, Blade's Edge, Netherstorm, and then go back down and around. But yeah, so next week we will be moving on to Zangarmarsh, the Mushroom Kingdom, and hopefully I will see you then. So Onyx, tell everyone goodbye, and I will see you next week.